And it'll be the Packers kicking off from the 35. It is Aldo Greco. Back deep. Leon Bright, number 29. Michael Morton, number 20. Squib kick. It gets away from Leon Bright. Picks it up at the 2, and he's in trouble. Stutter steps across the 10, and maybe to the 11-yard line. Tackled by John Dorsey, number 99, a rookie out of Connecticut. So it's 1st and 10. As you see down there, fisticuffs already. A very spirited rivalry. These two teams battled in overtime in Tampa Bay, and it was won by the Packers 30-27 back on September the 30th. The offense of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, of course, Steve DeBerg, obtained in the trade with the Denver Broncos. And those are the wide receivers and the backs, as you saw. The offensive line playing very much together as a unit.
Well, rookie Ron Heller has really come on for their football team. He's a real fine prototype tackle for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Spot the ball at the 11-yard line. Wide to the left side is Kevin House. Motion across. James Wilder is the tailback. DeBerg pitch back. Sweeps to the right. Wilder maybe one tough yard as he cracks across the 11. Loose football, but it was down in the grasp of John Anderson before that ball was pulled loose. Let's take a look at that defensive front of the Green Bay Packers. They had some problems against the Rams.
It certainly did. Problems of not putting pressure on the quarterback. They got two rookies starting in their defensive front. Linebackers are led by the veteran John Anderson from Michigan. Defensive backfield really improved this year, led by Tim Lewis and Mark Lee.
2nd down and 9. 2nd down and 10. They say he didn't even cross the 11-yard line. Carter wide to the left. Motion right side of the Tampa Bay line. Free play for DeBerg, perhaps. Unloads to Giles, and it is intercepted. Timmy Lewis picks it off for the Packers. It is down inside the Bucs 30 at the 27-yard line. Let's check the penalty flag, however, thrown by the linesman back at the 9-yard line. Steve DeBerg came into this game as far as Tampa Bay is concerned, and he had only thrown 16 interceptions. Indication is it's against Green Bay after motion from the left side of the line.
Offside, number 76, defense. Repeat, 2nd down.
The man that jumped offside, number 76, for the Green Bay Packers, the rookie out of Florida State, Alfonso Carricker. Break for the Buccaneers.
Definitely a break for the Buccaneers. Tim Lewis made a heck of an interception on the plane. Yesterday, DeBerg had said that one thing they fear with Tim Lewis is that he has great hands in the secondary. Anything he touches, he catches.
On 2nd and 5 for the Bucs, Kevin House wide to the left, Carter wide to the right. James Wilder straight up the middle, down at the 18-yard line in the grasp of Randy Scott and George Cumby. You might notice on the side of the Buccaneer helmets, they are all wearing number 42. That, of course, in reference to their former teammate, Ricky Bell, whose NFL career was cut short by a rare muscle disease. Ricky, who died Wednesday from heart failure at the age of just 29. He was a star running back, of course, at Southern California. He was runner-up for the Heisman Trophy in 1976. He was the nation's leading rusher as a junior with over 1,875 yards. Ricky Bell, one of the finest football players that John McKay said he'd ever had the pleasure of coaching. Ricky Bell, an even finer man. 3rd and 1, and diving close to 1st down yardage is James Wilder. Ironically, it is James Wilder who is pursuing Ricky Bell, who is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers career rushing leader.
Well, Jim, I'm sure James Wilder is going to get a real workout today in this muddy field, wet football and everything. You got to control that football and keep it in the hands of James Wilder. And once he gets on track, Tampa Bay's offense will be on track. But he should see a lot of action today.
1st and 10 after that dive by Wilder from the 22 of the Bucs. Two tight ends, Jerry Bell and Jimmy Giles, in for the Buccaneers now. In James Wilder's jersey, you can't even see the number 32. DeBerg unloads, wide open, Kevin House. House breaks it across the 33, and that's very close to 1st down yardage once again. Mike Douglas, 53, came up to make the hit for Green Bay.
Well, it's just a 1st down play. You can see Kevin House is getting a lot of room. Gets a clear-out route there by Jerry Bell. And House just kind of sits down in the zone defense, makes the catch, and tries to get as many yards as he can before being brought down.
12:06 left to go. The one interception by the Packers called back because of an offsides. Otherwise, it would have been a big break for Green Bay. As it is, Tampa Bay's drive stays alive. 1st and 10 from the Bucs 32. Motion by Adger Armstrong. James Wilder dives over the left side. Blocking by Corson and by Wilson. John Anderson on the tackle for the Packers up near the 40-yard line.
Jim, a great job that time by the Tampa Bay Buccaneer offensive line. They really drove the defensive line for the Green Bay Packers upfield, and James Wilder was able to pick up some big yards.
Over on the sideline, John McKay, just 3 games away from retirement, wearing a knit cap today, not his ever familiar golf cap. 2nd down and 3 for the Bucs. House to the left, Carter to the right. James Wilder cross blocking up across the 43. Donnie Humphrey, the rookie out of Auburn, a 3rd-round draft pick of the Green Bay Packers, submarine Wilder and went down low.
Well, I'm sure Tampa Bay feels they can run on Green Bay. They got that good offensive line, big offensive line, and Green Bay has 2 rookies in their defensive front, Donnie Humphrey and Alfonso Carricker. So they think they can take advantage of them, just put these big guys on them and move them out.
Donnie Humphrey actually becomes a defensive tackle when the Green Bay Packers go into their nickel. The book on Donnie Humphrey so far this year, he plays the run much better than he does the pass. He is tough, he is aggressive, and the coaches say he doesn't look fast, but he is.
Well, he's a big guy. He's 6'3", 275, doesn't have any quarterback sacks, but like you said, Jim, he's been very effective this year so far against the run.
You saw the measurement, less than the length of the football on 3rd down. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will bring in 3 tight ends. Jimmy Giles, 88, Jerry Bell, 82, and Jay Carroll, the rookie out of Minnesota, number 86. Boy, how many times on 3rd and a foot here at Lambeau Field did you see the Green Bay Packers? Bart Starr would fake the play into the line to Horning, go up top to Boyd Dowler, who's now a coach for the Bucs.
That's right. Old number 86 with Green Bay.
First down, Tampa Bay at the Green Bay 45. Rich Wingo made the stop on James Wilder. You know, the first time, as you watch at ground level, the first time these 2 teams met, James Wilder carried the ball a record-tying 43 times. He actually broke the record, but the one play was called back because of a penalty.
Well, he might break it today, and there's no mystery to that play. They knew James Wilder was going to take the ball. The offensive line, again, did a great job. Tampa Bay picks up the 1st down.
The injured Buck, Steve Wilson, 9-year veteran out of Georgia. So while they attend to Steve, left in a scoreless first quarter, it's 1st and 10 Tampa Bay from the Green Bay 45, and the new center, Randy Grimes, 2nd year out of Baylor. So on a sloppy field, could be some exchange problems with quarterback Steve DeBerg. Steve Wilson out, injured on that last play. Backpedaling Steve DeBerg, wide open is Giles, and it was deflected by Gerald Carter. I think the ball was intended for the tight end, and Carter came across and deflected it.
Well, Carter was trying to get across on the play. He came in motion. He was trying to work to the other side of the field, but he read his own defense. He's seen a linebacker right there, so he broke down. And I think that interfered with the play because, as you said, Jim, Giles was wide open in the secondary, in the middle of that secondary. Carter's coming in motion there, and looks like the Berg is looking for Giles. You see Giles wide open. He slips down as he tries to plant to come back to the football, but Gerald Carter knocked it away.
Carter wide right, House wide left. DeBerg bends in on 2nd and 10. Open over the middle is Giles. DeBerg unloads, caught at the 41 by Kevin House. Another 1st down for Tampa Bay, and this is a very impressive opening drive considering they started at their own 11-yard line.
Well, Tampa Bay showing no signs of playing in this cold weather. You see at the top of the screen, Kevin House. You see the whole picture of the defense there. We'll see what kind of coverage they get as we get into the replay. They're playing zone defense. You see the backers just backing up. Kevin House plants and watch him come back to the football. Great catch by Kevin House working in his own defense.
Tim Lewis, you saw on the replay, slipped before that catch by Kevin House. 1st and 10 from the 41. Dives over the middle down to the 35. Does James Wilder. Word from the Tampa Bay bench, Steve Wilson with a knee injury. Boy, just as soon as they get the offensive line back intact, more injuries.
Well, here's the last play. Again, you can see the offensive line creating that real estate for James Wilder. It's a zone blocking play. gets the blocking, he reads the zone, and cuts back against the grain. Picks up some yardage. 2nd and 4.
From the 35 of Green Bay. DeBerg looking for Giles. He's got Carter in a crossing pattern, and Carter is open at the 30. And I think he's just about a half-yard shy of first down yardage. Randy Scott was back there on the coverage for Green Bay, but they need another 2 feet.
Well, Tampa Bay knows that Green Bay is going to be in that zone defense, so they're going to work underneath that zone. Again, you see Gerald Carter on this side, the same route as Kevin House ran on the other side to pick up a first down. Gerald Carter is going to run it on this side. He works inside that zone, and DeBerg reads him. They pick up the first down.
Steve DeBerg now 3 out of 4 for 30 yards on a sloppy field. They say now it is a first down. They gave him forward progress across the 30. So 1st and 10, Tampa Bay from the Green Bay 30. Carter wide to the left. House comes deployed wide right. Kevin House, and that is a good catch. No, it is not. It is ruled by the other official incomplete. Must have trapped the ball.
It must have. It looked like he got his arms up under the ball before it hit the ground, but the official had a better angle than we have up here. You see on the replay, Kevin House on the out route. He's getting a lot of room on that man-to-man coverage by Mark Lee. Let's see him go down. Gets those arms, try to get it under the football, but the ball does bounce off the turf. No catch.
Let's talk about the turf now. The old adage on a sloppy track that the wide receiver has the advantage. He knows where he's going, and you can see the Packers playing way off.
Well, it's certainly true, and wide receiver does have the advantage here because he knows, like you said, Jim, he knows where he's going. He can put that move and break down, be deliberate in his routes.
2nd and 10, DeBerg picks up the blitz and just unloads. Coming crashing through, big number 63. And 79, Donnie Humphrey. Terry Jones, the first man through. In the general direction, the ball was thrown of Jerry Bell.
Well, DeBerg read the blitz, but Jerry Bell did not pick up the blitz. He did not read the call. The quarterback and the receivers has to be on the same page. DeBerg reads the blitz, and he's ready to let the ball go because he knows that pressure is coming. But Jerry Bell was not ready for it, ran a different route than what the blitz called for.
3rd and 10. Bucks are 2 for 2 on 3rd down conversions. The nickelback, Estes Hood, 38 in for Green Bay. Kevin House in motion, top of your screen. DeBerg in trouble, unloads, incomplete to Carter. He was open at the 22. And now we've got more fisticuffs and a penalty flag thrown down at about the 33-yard line. Ezra Johnson, 8-year veteran out of Morris Brown, came crashing through. He might have got to DeBerg a little late.
Well, Ezra Johnson comes in on passing situations. We listen to the call. Against Tampa Bay, personal foul.
That will pretty much take the Bucks out of field goal range.
Let's see if Green Bay takes the penalty, moves them back, will give them another down. No, they'll lose the down on the play. That's a personal foul.
Personal foul, unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 74 on the offense. After the play, we go to 4th down.
74 is Gene Sanders, the 6-year veteran out of Texas A&M, who had such a terrible game against the New York Giants. He was just completely victimized by Lawrence Taylor. There's Garcia, and you see he's got a face mask on because the wind is swirling around here at Lambeau Field. So the Packers dodge a bullet. The Bucks worked it down to the 30, but a personal foul penalty takes them out of field goal range. Penalty flags are down. And I think I saw motion left side of that Tampa Bay line before the snap. Somebody jumped off sides a little prematurely.
Well, despite the
weather. Start, number 59, offense.
We get the call despite the weather here. There's quite a few people here, and I guarantee it's partisan Green Bay. These people love this type of weather, this type of football.
Ball start, number 59, still 4th down.
Penalties, mistakes, injuries apply to most teams, I guess, when you're having the kind of a season Tampa Bay has. But John McKay gets very frustrated with silly and stupid penalties. Tom Flynn, the rookie out of Pittsburgh, awaits this punt back at the Green Bay 15. Almost blocked. Flynn backpedals up to the 20, and that's where the Packer offense will start. So the Bucs had the ball for half of the first period. They penetrated down to the Green Bay 30 and then backpedaled after 2 penalties, a personal foul and to the tune of Ghostbusters. Welcome back to Lambeau Field. The forecast, 3 to 7 inches of white stuff. It's Green Bay kind of weather. It's 78 and sunny back in Tampa Bay. And as John McKay said, if you missed the top of the telecast, the NFL schedule maker must have planned this at 21 over cocktails. 15 plays. The Bucs had the ball for almost 7.5 minutes. No points. Green Bay first and 10 from their own 20, and Lynn Dickey goes airborne right away. Safety valve to Eddie Lee Ivory. He is hammered backwards. A loss of 5 on the play. Keith Browner, the rookie out of USC, he just drove Eddie Lee Ivory the opposite way. Eddie Lee Ivory back healthy, had a big game against the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving.
That's right. When Eddie Lee Ivory came back, they moved Gary Ellis to fullback, and that's a potent backfield they have right there now. And there's the offensive line. They moved the big guys inside for this game to try to add a little weight. Got Blake Moore in there starting at center for Larry McCarron.
Second down and 15 for the Packers. Epps comes wide to the left side. Wide to the right is James Lofton. Eddie Lee Ivory scampers around the right side and nothing doing. And again the Bucs defense. John Cannon comes crashing through. Cannon in his 3rd year out of William & Mary. And speaking of the defense of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Leroy Selmon, of course, the key to that 3-4, along with his battery mate Hugh Green, who's back healthy. We are told that Hugh is wearing a special plexiglass plate inside of his helmet for protection. We could use some of that plexiglass up here and keep the snow out of the booth. 3rd and 18. It's be careful time for the Packers from their own 12. Motion by the left guard. That is Keith Euchre in his 3rd year out of Auburn, a free agent who was cut by the Broncos this year. We got 2 former Broncos, DeBerg on Tampa Bay.
Third, number 70, offense.
Well, Green Bay is having the type of start as we look at Hugh Green there. Plexiglass on the top of his helmet.
Number 70, still 3rd down.
That is not the way Hugh Green looked at the hotel yesterday in his mink coat.
No, he looked very sharp in that mink. We could use that up here too. But Green Bay is having the type of start you would expect Tampa Bay to have in this weather, being the first time playing in these types of conditions. But Green Bay is really faltering. Now they got a 3rd and 23 situation.
Eddie Lee Ivory, but far shy of first down yardage. In fact, he's only back to the 19, and the original line of scrimmage was the 20-yard line. So Lynn Dickey trots on off, and the Packers, 3 plays and a punt, will give the ball back to the Bucs in reasonably good field position. Inside 5.5 when Tampa Bay will snap it. You know, Hugh Green and that mink look like one of your dates.
Uh-oh.
Leon Bright, number 29, awaits this punt back at the 35-yard line. Bucky Scribner in his 2nd year out of Kansas State. Gets away a good kick. It is a low spiral. Bright at the 40, slips, and gets down at the 44-yard line. Gary Hayes out of Fresno State. Good special teams play for the Packers. So it's still a story here in Green Bay. Tampa Bay's ball 1st and 10 from their own 44-yard line. Gerald Carter wide to the left side, and Kevin House comes wide to the right side. James Wilder, you see the explosive speed, and he hammers his way up across the 50-yard line. A pickup of 7 yards. Mark Lee, the man that came up and chopped him down. Around the NFL today, a couple of big games going on. That's not one of them. San Francisco has already clinched home field for as far as the Niners can go. That certainly isn't. Buffalo with the worst record in the league, but they're playing well at home. Pittsburgh in that AFC Central. Cincinnati on top over Cleveland. Cardinals, Neil Lomax a touchdown pass. 2nd down and 4. James Wilder. That's a 1st down at the 45 of Green Bay. Rich Wingo out of Alabama came up to make the stop. The score that we didn't show you is the big game today, the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Dallas defense. Drew doing it again. An old teammate of yours, Dennis Thurman.
They're doing it. They've been carrying them, Jim.
38-yard interception return off a pass thrown by Joe Pisarcik. Of course, Ron Jaworski out for the season for Philadelphia with a broken leg. So that NFC East, the Cowboys tied for the top spot with the Giants and the Redskins. That's another first down to Kevin House into triple coverage. And how about the protection that DeBerg had?
Well, that was a problem last week when the Packers played the Detroit Lions. They couldn't put that pressure on Gary Danielson, the Lion quarterback, and he had all day to throw the football. Same case here. DeBerg gets a lot of time. It's a play-action pass. Gets good protection. He pumps, brings it down, takes it up again, and drills it right in there to Kevin House, who makes a great catch in tight coverage.
Double tight end for the Bucs now, Jimmy Giles and Jerry Bell. We'll check the stats on James Wilder because he is just 1 yard shy of Ricky Bell's record. 9 carries, 33 yards for number 32. Wilder has that record at the 26 of Green Bay. Mike Douglas on the stop, 7th year out of San Diego State.
Jim, what's happening here is Tampa Bay's really controlling the ball this first quarter, and that's what Detroit did to Green Bay last week. Green Bay's offense couldn't get on the field to put points on the scoreboard. And that's what Tampa Bay wants to do. They want to control that football, keep Green Bay's offense off the field, but in doing so, Tampa Bay has to score some points.
You know, Green Bay has the lowest time of possession in the National Football League. 2nd down and 5 for the Bucs. Edger Armstrong is in. Carter wide to the left side. Here comes James Wilder again. Bulls his way inside the 25 down to the 24-yard line in the grasp of Mark Lee. You know, as you take a look at that offensive line of the Bucs with Sanders, Corson, Wilson, and Heller, that Buck offensive line, they're getting better under their coach, Kim Helton, and those players want the rest of the NFL to know about that. It was interesting talking with Steve DeBerg yesterday at the hotel. He said the different units are playing for their respective coaches for position.
Well, that's the motivation, and that's what we talked at the top of the show. The defense is really fired up, and they're playing for their defensive coordinator, Wayne Fontes.
Wide open is Giles over the middle, and he drops the ball. That'll be an incomplete pass, not a fumble. What a hit by Mark Murphy out of West Liberty State.
Well, he's the leading tackler for the Green Bay Packer defense. He's a very aggressive player coming from this strong safety position. He really likes to force the run, and that time he came up on the pass defense and knocked the ball away from Jimmy Giles.
So it brings up 4th and 3. And apparently, John McKay will disdain the field goal try here and go for it on 4th and 3. How about that?
Well, I got nothing to lose in this situation. Go for it.
Look out, the blitz is on. That's Jimmy Giles. He's fighting to get to the first down sticks, and it'll all depend on the spot. And Steve DeBerg is down at the 35-yard line and in tremendous pain. Donnie Humphrey came crashing through. DeBerg was out there unprotected.
It was a play-action pass, Jim, and DeBerg kind of ran a little naked bootleg, and nobody picked up Humphrey. He came in unmolested and leveled DeBerg. DeBerg did a heck of a job of getting rid of the football.
That is a shame for Steve DeBerg. Watch Donnie Humphrey right side of your screen.
And watch the play action. DeBerg will fake it to Wilder and come out almost naked with the bootleg, and here comes Humphrey into your picture, untouched. DeBerg does a great job getting the football away.
Steve, 5 for 10, 51 yards in the football game. I started to say it really is a shame because he's a terrific young man who came over from the Denver Broncos this year. And it took him a little while to work. Tampa Bay quarterback is Jack Thompson. Steve DeBerg expected back in on this series. So apparently that injury not as serious as it looked after Donnie Humphrey came crashing through. It's a first down for Tampa Bay. That's Edger Armstrong wide to the left side. Kevin House, the bottom of your screen. And with the football, a muddy James Wilder. Penalty flag down at the 20-yard line. Looks like it might be holding against the Bucs. John Anderson in his 7th year out of Michigan, the man that got to James Wilder first, holding against Tampa Bay. Well, they got down to the 30 of Green Bay in their first drive that used up 15 plays in 7.5 minutes, and then penalties took them out of field goal range, and a costly penalty here, Drew, on first down.
It certainly is. They picked up the first down.
Holding, number 74, offense, repeat first down.
That's Gene Sanders again. So that's 2 10-yard penalties against Sanders.
They picked up the first down on that last play. It was a big play. DeBerg comes back in the game now, but this penalty is going to hurt him a little. Now you got a 1st and 20 situation.
And I would imagine Steve's a little shell-shocked still from that hit put on by Donnie Humphrey. First and 20 from the 30 of Green Bay. Packers jumped offside. DeBerg has a free play. Looks to the end zone, unloads safety valve. That's Kevin House, and House would run out of bounds at the 15-yard line. But wide open in the left corner of the end zone was Jerry Bell. I mean, you can't get any more wide open. He's down there with the cheerleaders.
Well, apparently Steve DeBerg was looking for something else because he certainly missed Jerry Bell in the end zone. Luckily, he had the time and protection to throw the football to dump it off to Kevin House.
I believe the rookie Alfonso Carricker was the man who jumped offside. Let's check with referee Gordon McCarter.
Offside, number 76, defense, penalty declined, first down.
That is the rookie out of Florida State and a #1 draft pick of Green Bay this year. Interesting, as you look at Alfonso Carricker there, Forrest Gregg is coach. You know, there are some years you draft a player #1 and he really doesn't deserve to be a #1 draft pick, but he said this man, Alfonso Carricker, does.
Well, he's a tough, aggressive football player.
Right time.
Get a call
Didn't
here.
they make a first down on the completion?
No, it's still first down.
They did not make it. Okay.
We got to have
All right.
Gordon doesn't know his mic's
All
on.
right.
Let's listen.
I'm looking at the wrong state. Okay, all right. I got it.
Okay, Gordon.
I got it. Wait a minute.
Gordon's got it.
Second down.
It was second down.
This is the play.
It should be second down.
I
because
said first down, and I thought they'd made it. It will be second down by accepting the penalty.
That's correct.
Otherwise, third down. All right.
It's clear to me.
My error in assessing the penalty.
he just found out he didn't have it on.
He got more time than you. He's going to have to join after it.
But they did not make the first down on the play since the penalty was refused.
Is that what he said?
Second down.
Wait till he explains it to Forrest Gregg.
Yeah, he'll be upset.
Says, wait a minute.
Because if they had taken the penalty, it would have got 5 yards anyway, so it ended up about the same. Except it would have been 1st and 5 instead of 2nd and 5. Forrest Gregg does not like what's going on. I'm sure he'll be halfway out on the field try to get an explanation.
I would not want Forrest Gregg angry at me.
Now, he's a very intimidating type coach, discipline-orientated coach.
It is second down, 5 to go.
They got it right in favor of Green Bay fans.
Winning the second down lottery. In his 8th year as a head coach, of course, previous stints with the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals, first year here at Green Bay. So it is second down and 5 as we reload from the 15-yard line of Green Bay. James Wilder again bangs his way down inside the 10, and that should be another Tampa Bay first down. There is John McKay. Boy, he doesn't look like he's golfing today.
No, he's just looking like trying to survive in this cold weather up here.
2 games and 3 quarters away from a well-deserved retirement. In his 25th year as a head coach, when he first became a head coach, the Soviets were sending up Sputniks, and Ike was president. Won national championships, of course, at USC. Tremendous gentleman.
The players have a lot of respect for him.
First and goal from the 9. Bell in motion, and here goes a convoy for Wilder. Loose football at the 5. The Packers have it. The rookie out of Pittsburgh, Tommy Flynn, right there, and he's going to be a good one. George Cumbie, 52, watch it. Right side of your screen, forces the fumble.
Well, they get the block and they get the hole. You see Cumbie stick his hand in there. The ball's laying on the turf, and Tom Flynn just falls on top of it. Still no score.
Green Bay, after the Tampa Bay fumble, the Packers start from their own 6. Epps in motion, right to left. Eddie Lee Ivory. Nifty little move to pick up 5 tough yards across the 10 at the 11-yard line. Thought maybe the Bucs defense might come out a little bit fired up after that turnover.
I'm sure they are fired up. You can see their uniforms are pretty clean because their offense has been on the field for most of this first quarter. But I'm sure the Buc defense is fired up because they're playing for their defensive coordinator, Wayne Fontes. 3
plays and a punt previously for the Packers. Green Bay now second down and 5, barring a penalty that should be the last play of the first quarter. Eddie Lee Ivory behind the fake to Ray Krause up near the 15-yard line. If he gets to the 16, it's a first down with about 13 seconds left in quarter number 1. The Bucs penetrated down to the 30 of Green Bay. 2 penalties backed them up. They punted the ball away. The Packers had 3 plays and a punt. The Bucs got the ball and got it down. First and goal from the 9. A fumble at the 6-yard line, and the Packers have it. Jim Kelly and Drew Pearson, welcome back to snowy Lambeau Field in Green Bay, where the Packers and the Bucs are knotted up in a scoreless tie. Certainly unlike the first time these two teams hooked up when they went overtime back in Tampa Bay. The Packers won that one 30-27. It's 3rd and 2 for Green Bay after they got the ball back on a fumble at their own 6-yard line. Double tight end for Green Bay, Paul Kaufman and Ed West. West in motion across. Eddie Lee Ivory behind Ray Krause. First down for the Packers at the 17, maybe the 18-yard line. And the postbuster, Beasley Reese, submarined him. There is Eddie Lee Ivory, who's getting up a little gimpy-kneed. He, of course, is the main man who makes that running game for the Packers go. 4 carries, 11 yards.
He's been having injury problems, mainly with his knees, and anytime you can see him getting up slowly, walking back, limping to the huddle, then you have to be concerned.
Slot to the right. Lofton is inside. Epps outside. Backs are split. Krause and Eddie Lee Ivory. 1st and 10 Packers. Eddie Lee Ivory slips, gets across the 20, and hammers across the 25, up to the 26-yard line. Leroy Selman, the 9-year veteran out of Oklahoma, first-round draft pick of the Bucs back in '76. Isolated here, the man that made the tackle.
Well, a lot of teams like to do is run away from Leroy Selman, and that's what they're doing here. But you see number 63 in pursuit, working down the line of scrimmage, and that's what makes great football players. The play's going away from him, but he stays in pursuit to make the play.
His coach, John McKay, says of Leroy Selman, week in and week out, nobody in the National Football League plays any better than Leroy.
Well, Leroy only has 5 quarterback sacks, but he's pressured the quarterback 40 different times this year.
2nd and 2 for the Packers. Lofton left. Epps right. Dickey to Lofton. Loose football and incompleted pass. This has been such a strange season for James Lofton. You recall that snowy game out in Denver on Monday night. He had a career over 200 yards and catches. Last week, however, against Detroit, just 1 catch for 24 yards.
Well, their offense didn't have the football very often last week, so James Lofton, they couldn't work him loose. But you see there, he's running that little short post pattern, and there comes one of the post busters, Mark Cotney.
Lofton, by the way, needs just 59 yards to break his own Green Bay Packers single-season record for receiving yards of 1,300 that he set last year. 3rd and 2. Lofton right, Epps left. Dickey to Ray Krause, and Krause, excuse me, that is Gary Ellis. And Ellis gets bumped out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage, so the Packers will punt it away again. A good defensive play by John Holt to string it out.
They strung it out, gave him nowhere to run, no cutback move or nothing. They just ran him right out of bounds. Now they still got a 4th and 2 situation. Good
speed from John Holt. He's got 4.5 speed in the 40. 41-yard punt the last time by Bucky Scribner. Back deep is Leon Bright again. Have you ever seen Leon Bright make a fair catch?
He does make those fair catches now, but he used to make them. I was watching the game with Dallas, and when Leon Bright was the New York Giants, did not fair catch. He spent the rest of the evening in the hospital. So now he's learned how to fair catch.
Scribner's last was 41. This one won't be close to it. Off the side of his foot, takes a good Packer bounce. And Bright will let it roll near the out-of-bounds marker at the 31-yard line of Tampa Bay. 13:08, you see the time left in a scoreless first half, despite the fact the Bucs have had it at the Green Bay 30 and the Green Bay 6-yard line. They've come up empty both times. A punt and a fumble. So in the 3rd Buck possession, they start 1st and 10 from their own 31. James Wilder, the lone running back. Kevin House out wide to the right. DeBerg bends in. Lots of time. Looks for House. House comes back. Makes the catch at the 40-yard line. And almost breaks away from Mark Lee. 1st and 10 Tampa Bay. And how about the protection that DeBerg had?
Well, DeBerg had time to throw the football, and Mark Lee had pretty good coverage on the play. But Kevin House, you'll see on the replay, will come back to the football and make an adjustment. It gives him a little move, and he takes off deep. But Mark Lee is giving him a lot of room, and House spots the football, puts on the brakes, and comes back to make the catch. And Mark Lee is holding on to bring him down to keep him out of the end zone.
Kevin House now 5 receptions, 91 yards for the first half. 12:28 left to go. Kevin House with 59 career catches coming into this year. Carter wide to the left. Edger Armstrong motion right to left. James Wilder coming your way. Inside the 30 of Green Bay. That offensive front of Tampa Bay of Sanders, Corson, Wilson, and Heller starting to take command. College basketball coming your way next Saturday on CBS Sports. The Runnin' Rebels, Jerry Tarkanian and Nevada, Las Vegas, one of the top teams in the West. They'll come east for a showdown with the top-ranked Georgetown Hoyas, the defending national champs. You get a look at Patrick Ewing, who's still growing, considered by many to be the premier player in college basketball. This will be the first real test for Georgetown this year as they continue their quest to repeat as the national champions. Next Saturday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time, right here on CBS Sports. 2nd and 6. Wilder the other way. Interesting play by Mark Lee. He fought off the block of Edger Armstrong, and when he stood up, there was Wilder in his face. He, whoa, here comes another one.
Well, you know, Green Bay's defense was very suspect last year, especially their defensive secondary. Forrest Gregg went out and hired an former all-pro cornerback in Ken Riley, and their defensive secondary has become more aggressive, more intimidating. And that play by Mark Lee was just an example of their new style of play in their defensive secondary.
Tampa Bay 2 for 4 on third down conversions, looking at 3rd and 5 from the 30-yard line again of Green Bay. Kevin House motion. DeBerg can safety valve it. Instead, he unloads underneath. That's a first down to Gerald Carter. Boy, I'll tell you, had DeBerg looked to the right, James Wilder was all alone, and there wasn't a Green Bay Packer anywhere around him.
Yeah, but he was reading his keys, Jim, and the keys were calling to go to the side with 2 receivers. They seemed like they ran a pick route. You watch the inside guy come in and watch the defenders bump each other. Everybody goes down. There's the receiver wide open to make the catch, Gerald Carter.
I am sure that the Tampa Bay coaches, however, in the booth to our right spotted Wilder, and they'll come back with that play later on. There's John McKay.
Tampa Bay is doing a good job of mixing up the run with the pass.
Here comes James Wilder. Big block at the 20-yard line thrown by Edger Armstrong on Tommy Flynn, the rookie, to allow Wilder to pick up 4, maybe 5 yards. Mark Lee again made the tackle, but they're going to wear him out.
They're running on to that right, the Tampa Bay right side. There's a quick pitch to Wilder. He's going to get a workout today.
Watch the block.
It's over.
There's Flynn. Now watch the block by Armstrong.
Armstrong comes in on a crackback block. Edger Armstrong noted for his blocking. Had Tom Flynn in his sights all the way and picked him up, and Wilder was able to pick up 4 yards on the play.
There is James Wilder, and what he has done so far this afternoon. Carried the ball 43 times in meeting number 1. Here he goes again. He may throw it. Looks for the tight end. It is touchdown, Tampa Bay. Edger Armstrong. Well, we knew the Bucs had a flea flicker in, but we didn't know they had that one.
Well, a lot of times you see this type of play, the halfback option pass out in the open field, but it's really an effective play near the goal line because everybody's intense and aggressive in this situation. You watch cornerback Mark Lee coming up. That's a mistake right there. Tom Flynn gets beat also. There's a great catch in the end zone by Edger Armstrong. He just faked the block. When the guy's forced up, he slid behind him for 6 points. Great catch, too.
They look like they're dressed for that Cowboys game here against the Packers. That is the first pass ever attempted, by the way, by James Wilder. Out of the hold of Steve DeBerg. Obed Ariri out of Clemson, and Nigeria puts through the extra point. Take another look at James Wilder's first NFL pass ever.
Well, not great throwing motion there. It's kind of a shot put style, where he shot puts it enough to get it to Edger Armstrong, and he makes the catch. 7-0.
Chukwuma Ariri, whose middle name translates to God only knows, awoke this morning at the hotel, looked out across a frozen pool, looked at snow. He'd seen it before, and he said, from Nigeria, this is my kind of weather. From the 35, Obed Ariri gets it to Del Rogers. Good field position. Rogers to the 30, to the 35, out of bounds. He could not turn the corner. He had lots more turf. Michael Morton in the vicinity, and you can see Rogers a little frustrated.
Well, he should be. His momentum just kind of carried him right out of bounds. He tried to put on the brakes here. He avoids a tackle there. Great move. And watch him try to put on the brakes to cut back upfield. Nothing doing as he slides right out of bounds.
Coming your way next Saturday on CBS Sports, lots more action in the National Football League. That's on Saturday. You'll see the Minnesota Vikings against the NFC Western Division champion, San Francisco 49ers. It all starts with the NFL today at 3:30 Eastern Time on Saturday. First and 10 for the Green Bay Packers from the Green Bay 33, and going airborne is Lynn Dickey. He wants it all for Epps at the 30. No!
They call it a game of inches. Green Bay trying to get something going. You see Epps, he's got a lot of room. Getting a lot of room there by Jeremiah Castile on the corner, but Epps with his great speed closes the gap. And watch the adjustment on the football. The quarterback's told to throw the ball to the outside, and Epps is making a great adjustment on the football. He just can't hold on. Nice throw by Lynn Dickey.
Beautiful
on
throw.
the money. Got to go back and congratulate him on a throw like that, even though you don't make the catch.
Epps left, Lofton right, Ray Krause in the backfield along with Eddie Liauvry, and Dickey goes up top again. Kaufman's wide open, he goes underneath, incomplete at the 38, looking for Phil Epps out of TCU. For some reason, both quarterbacks unable to pick up the tight end. Of course, it's easier from up here to see how open they are, but that time Kaufman was wide open.
Well, on that play, the tight end was used mainly to clear out the area to bring Phil Epps underneath the coverage. So quarterback Lynn Dickey wasn't looking for Kaufman on the play. He's looking mainly for either Epps or Lofton on the play.
That is almost unbelievable.
Well, you know, Green Bay's defense gave up over 500 yards to Detroit last week, so they've been suspect.
On 3rd and 10, Dickey up top, lots of time, rifles it incomplete, missing Gary Ellis, who had looped over the linebacker coming out of the backfield. And the faithful at Lambeau Field, not so faithful with a 5-8 record after the Packers' performances the last couple of weeks. They had that 14-0 lead over the Lions on Thanksgiving Day, and then Detroit stuffed their turkey.
Well, if Green Bay doesn't get anything going offensively, these fans are going to start yelling for the backup quarterback, rookie Randy Wright from the University of Wisconsin.
That is Bucky Scribner and what he's done so far this afternoon. The Bucs have deployed 2 men deep, Leon Bright, 29, and Theo Bell, number 83. Beautiful kick by Scribner. It backs Bright up to the 25. Gets across the 32, and that's where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will start. Rich Wingo, number 50, raced down on the specialty team.
It's not the kind you want to get into. It's kind of one to watch.
First and 10, Tampa Bay from their own 32. That's Edger Armstrong who caught the touchdown pass, and that's James Wilder who threw it up to the 35. You know, as the wave goes around Lambeau Field, the first wave John McKay saw was against the Minnesota Vikings in October of this year, and it was called the Orange Surf down in Tampa Bay. It was kind of rippling as it roared around their stadium there. The problem was that the fans in Tampa Bay would do it when the Bucs were on offense. After the game, Coach McKay asked one of the Bucs assistants, he said, "Who's in charge?" He said, "Nobody's in charge, it's spontaneous." McKay said, "I got to talk to Mrs. Spontaneous." 16 carries, 61 yards for James Wilder. 2nd and 6, Tampa Bay. Out of the backfield, James Wilder hangs on at the 38-yard line. Tim Lewis came up to make the tackle, but Wilder just lost his momentum and fell down.
Steve DeBerg does such a great job of reading defenses. He's been in camps with the Dallas Cowboys, Denver Broncos, San Francisco 49ers, and he's been under some great coaches. Now here in Tampa Bay, he's under Boyd Dowler, their offensive coordinator. He reads defenses as well as any quarterback in the National Football League.
7:25 left to go in a scoreless first half for the Green Bay Packers. Tampa Bay has a 16-yard touchdown toss from James Wilder. An unlikely source, it's his first pass ever to Edger Armstrong. 2 tight ends, Giles and Bell are in there. DeBerg wide open behind Jerry Bell. Flynn, the rookie out of Pittsburgh, the man that was covering the tight end. Forrest Gregg and his coaching staff very high on that man, Tommy Flynn. He's going to be a good one.
Well, he's a good, aggressive, smart football player. 6 interceptions in the secondary. They're playing man-to-man in this case because the Packers blitz trying to get pressure on Steve DeBerg, but DeBerg throws the ball behind Jerry Bell.
The masked marvel is the punter, Frank Garcia. Flynn, who just made that defensive play, is back deep. Snap is high, and Garcia's got a problem. Now he'll pass, and it's complete. However, a penalty flag is down. Tampa Bay will have offensive linemen beyond the line of scrimmage. Dwayne Dixon, a rookie wide receiver out of Florida. That's a heads-up play by Garcia.
It's a good job by Garcia, but I think they have men downfield. So it's going to be against Tampa Bay, but it really saves them because he salvaged the play. Garcia did. As we see here, the ball is wet, just slips right through his hands, hits him on the helmet. He picks it up, he starts to kick it. He looks around, he starts to kick it again. And lays it out there.
Dixon makes the catch, and this is a very important catch because if the ball is incomplete, Green Bay would take over on downs, and they'd have it at the 38 of Tampa Bay. Here's Gordon McCarter.
Ineligible downfield, number 55 on the offensive team. Penalty accepted, repeat fourth down.
It really turns out to be a big break for Tampa Bay.
Wait a minute. No, there's no loss of down. No loss of down. You want the play or the penalty? The play gave him the first down.
Great stuff.
We're getting lucky. At least those players are keeping it clean.
Really. That's really taking you right to the action.
4th and 12. Garcia back to punt again, and Tom Flynn awaits back at the 30.
See if they try to block this one.
They've got the return on. Good kick by Garcia. Hangs a low spiral. Flynn fields at the 30. At 35. Down at the 40. Penalty flag is down at the 45. I believe we're going to have a late hit, and it looks like it's against the Green Bay Packers. So Gordon McCarter, who has been leaving his mic on and taking us right into the heat of the huddle, whether it was the Packer huddle or his own conclave of officials when they straightened out that down problem a little while earlier.
Well, Jim, this is one of those interdivision rivalries. The teams play each other twice a year. The players know each other fairly well. And when things happen on the field, the intensity flares up, and you probably see a lot of fights breaking out.
Late hit, number 56 on the receiving team. 15-yard penalty from the dead ball spot, 1st and 10.
Cliff Lewis, 4th year out of Southern Mississippi, with a very costly penalty because it would have been 1st and 10 for the Green Bay Packers at their own 40-yard line. That would have been the best field position. He was smiling because his defense is playing so well. Clapping his hands together is Wayne Fonts, defensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's been with John McKay for 15 seasons. Of course, with the Bucs, and before that with the Trojans at USC. It's 1st and 10 for the Packers, trailing 7-0. Lynn Dickey, 2 out of 6, 80 yards, however, on those 2 completions. Unloads. He's got Eddie Lee Ivory, and that's a Green Bay first down. Loose football, and the Bucs have got it back. 1st and 10, Tampa Bay at the 38 of Green Bay. The Packers, who led the NFL in fewest fumbles lost with 5, have just coughed up their 6th. Mark Cotney fell on the loose football, and there is Wayne Fonts, the man who Leroy Selman, who Hugh Green will be talking about with Mr. Culverhouse, the owner of the Bucs. The defensive players solidly lined up behind Fonts to replace John McKay.
Well, that's the defense's motivation for this game and the next 2 games coming up, is to play well to impress the owner, Hugh Culverhouse, that Wayne Fonts is, that they think is the man for that job to replace John McKay as head coach. The defense has been playing really fired up, and Green Bay is really struggling offensively. I don't know the count, but they haven't had the football too much, and their defense, Green Bay's defense, has to be tired at this point because they've been on the field for most of this first half.
There's Wayne Fonts again on the sideline. It was Keith Browner, the rookie out of USC, who forced the fumble. James Wilder convoys right, and inside the 35, down to the 32 in the grasp of Randy Scott.
Well, James Wilder is going to have 20 or more carries before this half is out. And the record of 43 carries in 1 game is definitely in jeopardy here today.
He's also going to have a muddy jersey. 6:20 and counting left in the first half. 7-0 Tampa Bay. A 16-yard scoring strike from James Wilder to Edger Armstrong. Gerald Carter wide to the left. Armstrong slotted out to the right. Here comes Wilder again. Wilder just keeps on hammering, and he's close to first down yardage for the Bucs. John Anderson, like a Bronco rider, hanging on the backside. Patriots in all sorts of trouble at Foxborough. Of course, the Cardinals very much in that playoff hunt in that wild NFC East. And speaking of the East, Eagles have come back with a field goal by Paul McFadden to close to within 4 of the Cowboys. Cowboys scored on a 38-yard interception by Dennis Thurman. Giants on top over the Jets. They're playing at the Meadowlands, which is the home field for both the Giants and the Jets, but it's the Jets' home game, so their season ticket holders are there. Cleveland by a field goal against the Bengals. And San Francisco having no problem with Atlanta. You think Dan Henning's in any trouble down there?
I would think so. Over the last 2 years, they've been really struggling. But again, as the case is with most teams in the National Football League this year, Atlanta's been having their share of injury problems.
The Bucs picked up the first down on that last carry, the 18th by James Wilder. He's got 72 yards rushing and a 16-yard touchdown pass. Tack on about 7 more yards as he hammers his way inside the 20. And the fans here at Lambeau Field not enthralled with the Packers defense. Interesting, in talking to a couple of the Packers at their practice yesterday morning, they think that their front three a little bit small, and certainly that Tampa Bay line is doing a good job.
The Tampa Bay line certainly opening the holes in their defensive front for the Green Bay Packers. They go with a 3-man front. Tampa Bay has those big men up front with Gene Sanders going 285, Steve Corson going 270 on that left side, and that's the side they've been working pretty regular.
James Wilder again on 2nd and 2. Just puts that helmet down, bangs into Tommy Flynn, the rookie out of Pittsburgh, and is very close to first down yardage again. Alfonso Carricker, the rookie out of Florida State, the first to get there.
Well, James Wilder looks like one of the throwbacks from the old days of professional football, playing in the mud, dirty. Looks like Jim Brown there, that number 32. He can hardly read his number. But I guarantee this is just the first half. He's got a long way to go before his job is through today.
1964, the most valuable player in the National Football League and the American Football League wore number 32. You just named one of them. Who was the other? Big hole over the middle for Adger Armstrong inside the 10, and that's another first down for the Bucs.
Cookie Gilchrist. Am I right?
That's right.
Trivia.
Watch the blocking up front. Corson, Wilson, Bujnak, Heller, and Sanders.
Well, you get him looking for Wilder, and he pop a quick opener up the middle to Adger Armstrong, more noted for his blocking, but he pops through that hole. Now they got a 2nd and 1 situation.
And again, the offensive line coach is Kim Helton, and Steve DeBerg told us at the Bucs Hotel yesterday, the team playing in units. They're playing more together, of course, but they're playing for their unit, their specific unit coaches. Tampa Bay with a motion on the right side of that offensive line, and I think it was the rookie out of Penn State, Ron Heller. I think it tells you something about the Bucs.
Number 73 offense.
All right, it was Ron Heller. Thank you, Gordon. It tells you something about the Bucs as a team, the way the players are rallying behind their individual unit coaches. They would like to keep things in an orderly transition with John McKay retiring. If Wayne Font should be elevated to the head coach, but even not, they would like their specialty coaches, Boyd Dowler, Kim Helton, Wayne Font's, everything to stay in place, rather than have somebody come in and bring an entire new system and start over again.
Well, the players feel, Jim, that their position coaches are doing an excellent job. They come in, they prepare the players each week, week in and week out, and they're doing a great job. And even though McKay has announced his retirement effective at the end of the season, the players hope that the coaching staff, the rest of the coaching staff, stays intact.
We'll be talking about the coaching situation at halftime for our Tampa Bay fans, so we invite you to stay with us. Scores and highlights with Brendan Irv from New York. 3:34 to go before intermission. It is 2nd down and 5 after the penalty. Donnie Humphrey is out. Robert Brown in for Green Bay on defense. Adger Armstrong motion bottom of your screen, and there goes Wilder. This time they got him. Mike Douglas came crashing through. Now, Mike Douglas is not a big fella. He's only 6 feet, about 214 pounds, but he's kind of a TNT waiting to go off.
Yeah, well, he's a very aggressive player. And I asked him yesterday how he deals with these big tight ends, big tackles coming out to try to block on him. And he says he just tried to get the leverage. He said he's small, but he has a lot of strength due to his weight training. He bench presses over 400 pounds. So he doesn't have that great size, but he has that great strength.
What's his nickname?
Mad Dog.
Willie Buchanan tagged him with that. He's got it sewn in his jacket.
He's serious.
3rd and 5 for the Bucs. Here comes the blitz. DeBerg picks it up. Penalty flag is down. The ball is dropped at the 6-yard line. Edger Armstrong. But let's check the call. Anderson putting pressure on Steve DeBerg. It was 3rd and 5. Procedure against Tampa Bay. So I would imagine the Packers would decline the penalty. And we may see the Nigerian place kicker who woke up this morning and saw a frozen pool. Looked like Lake Placid outside.
I'll tell you, I've never been to Nigeria, but I didn't think it would get this
illegal
cold.
formation. Right tackle out of the line. Penalty decline. 4th down.
Now the last time on 4th and 4, John McKay went for the first down. This time, however, we will see Obed Ariri.
He's the guy with the clean uniform.
Steve DeBerg will be the holder. Obed Ariri has seen snow before at Clemson one time. I would have to imagine just a little dusting down there.
Well, he has to be careful in this situation. He's in the middle part of the football field, the part of the field that's been getting a lot of action, so he has to be careful with his footing as he attempts this field goal.
He's 2 for 2 from the 30. No good. A timing problem between the holder, Steve DeBerg, and Ariri, who lost his footing a little bit. He tried to reload, but he couldn't.
Well, DeBerg gets the ball down there, but he slips a little on his takeoff. He double pumps, and he tries to get the ball off. But he gets it off, but it doesn't go anywhere.
So the Packers drilled in Green Bay. 2:43 to go before halftime. The Packers would like to get the tying touchdown. They've got the Air Corps in. Phillips wide to the left. Lofton comes wide to the right. Dickey bends in. Looks over that 4-3 defense now. Bucks have an extra linebacker in. Penalty flag is down. Wide open is up. That's an apparent Green Bay first down, but let's check the call. It is thrown in the backfield of the Packers, and one would have to assume holding.
Yeah, Green Bay's really struggling. Their football team should be really frustrated at this point. But the key thing, even though Tampa Bay has dominated offensively and defensively, Green Bay is only 1 touchdown away from tying this football game.
Just one play when you've got a Lofton.
That's right.
Illegal use of the hands. Number 65, offense. Repeat, first down.
That is Ron Hallstrom, who Forrest Gregg was so high on at practice. Hallstrom inserted over on that right guard after sitting on the bench here in Green Bay for 2 years.
You see the difference there in first downs. Tampa Bay with 13, and Green Bay would have had their second, but the penalty wiped that out.
Hallstrom originally drafted to play tackle, now moved over to guard. Eddie Lee Ivory, and he's not going very far. Dances his way up to the 18-yard line, but still not back to the original line of scrimmage. So unless the Packers hurry up, that'll be the last play before the 2-minute warning.
Well, Eddie Lee Ivory was hustling on that play. There was nothing out there, but the yardage he made on his own.
Going back to Hallstrom, number 65 for just a minute. Mentioned he was 2 years on the bench, tried to play a tackle. His self-confidence was way down, and then Forrest Gregg moved him to guard, gave him a chance to win a starting spot. Packers just come back to Lambeau Field in Green Bay, the Battle of the Bays. The Bucks are winning the first half battle 7-0 against the Packers, who have just 1 first down so far in the game. Timeouts left, both teams with 3. Interesting as far as Green Bay is concerned, Eddie Lee Ivory, as far as yardage, 3 catches for 17 yards and 6 rushes for 27 yards. He's been the Packer offense. And now Green Bay has a mix-up after the 2-minute warning, and they've got to take a timeout. They wasted 25 seconds before the 2-minute warning. Now they can't.
Purcell's back in this football game.
He came in and he said, fellas, my way or the highway. And a lot of the Packers said it woke a lot of people up. They felt Bart Starr was too lenient, and it cost Bart Starr his job.
I think discipline's great. That's what football is all about. You got to have discipline, respect, and a certain amount of fear for your head coach.
2nd and 11. Wide open. That is Paul Kaufman, the tight end. The first ball that's been thrown in his direction. Time left in the first half. It had been about 5 minutes since the Packers ran a play. They are just not crisp offensively.
No, the clock is running down now. They're not in their 2-minute offense. They should have had 2 plays called, and they didn't do that. I guess they're going to call it now, but the clock is winding down, approaching the end of the first half.
Ray Krause, 21, checks in the backfield now. Epps comes out wide to the right, Lofton to the left. 3rd and 10. Over the middle for Eddie Lee Ivory at the 35-yard line. Packers pick up a first down, and now they'll take another timeout.
Guards, timeout. Green Bay.
1:19 left to go before halftime. Packers are using up little chunks of yardage. They've got to get down into the end zone. They trail the Bucks by 7. Some of our crew last night at the hotel. 7-0 Bucks over the Packers. We've got 1:19 left to go before intermission. Lynn Dickey, 5 out of 7, just 31 yards passing. Lofton wide to the left side. Epps wide to the right. 1st and 10 Green Bay. Play action fake to Eddie Lee Ivory. They go the other way to Kaufman, and he can't make the one-handed grab. Epps was wide open downfield. But first, coming up at halftime, scores and highlights with Brennan Irv from the studio back in New York. Opportunity Knox. A look at the Seattle Seahawks and what a job Chuck Knox has done. And we'll have a live interview here in Green Bay with the Tampa Bay owner, Mr. Hugh Culverhouse, talking about the changeover with the retirement of John McKay as he looks ahead. Mr. Culverhouse will join us live in the booth. So that's all coming up at halftime in about 74 elongated seconds. 2nd and 10 Packers, who are not Drew Pearson, throwing the ball downfield.
They had James Lofton open that time. They didn't go to him. They're throwing short.
Over the middle. Lofton got it and drops the ball at the 42-yard line. Wide open was James Lofton, and that makes them walk to the huddle a lot longer.
Oh, that was the same play. Lofton came back to the huddle, told Dickey he is open on the play, and he didn't lie because he certainly was. He just didn't make the catch. And James Lofton, the epitome of a pro receiver, the best receiver, in my opinion, in the National Football League. You don't see him drop too many.
Lofton,
he's having a rough day. Excuse me, Jim.
Yeah, they just are not crisp on offense. The passing, the receiving.
Well, he caught only 1 pass last week and was a little disappointed. But here he had 2 in his hands, 2 in his grasp. Just couldn't hold on.
3rd and 10. Floating pocket for Dickey. Fires, rifles it. Incomplete. Looking for Kaufman, the tight end. And the Bucks get the ball back. Interesting situation now if you're John McKay. He's been playing it very wide open and loose since he announced his retirement. 1:05 to go.
Well, what he's going to do, Jim, is wait to see where that field position is. Where is he going to get that football back after this punt and punt return? And then he'll make his decision whether to try to get some more points before this half ends. Minute and 5 seconds.
Back to do the punting. Bucky Scribner, a 42-yard average so far this afternoon. Leon Wright is back deep, along with Bell. Scribner with a low kick. Takes a good Green Bay bounce, and they better fall on the ball. The Packers have got it. A very costly mistake. And Green Bay in business now inside the 20-yard line. Darryl Jones, the rookie out of Georgia, fell on the loose football. What could Bright have been thinking about?
Well, the main thing he should have been thinking about was just following that football. The ball was kicked low, it was bouncing around there. The worst thing he could do is just let the ball roll.
How about
he tries to make a play here out of the punt by picking up the football, just overruns it, and the Packers, with their hustle, Darryl Jones comes in and cleans it up.
You saw Bright wearing gloves. How do you feel about that? How difficult is it to pick up a football on a sloppy field when you're wearing gloves?
Well, the problem is the ball hit the turf and was rolling around, and it got wet. When it gets wet, it makes it tough to pick it up with gloves on.
1st and 10. The Pack in business. 55 seconds. Lots of time. The ball is deflected and intercepted. Scott Brantley down that right sideline after a deflection. And the Bucks are back in business. Eddie Lee Ivory, for whom the ball was intended, is injured back at the 12-yard line. Another look. Watch the deflection right side of your screen, right there.
Well, it's deflected at the line of scrimmage. And then a great play by Brantley, and you see Eddie Lee Ivory just get decked on the play, and he's still down as Brantley brings it back upfield.
That is Brantley's 3rd interception. Maybe we can take another look at it, Bobby, if you back it up, and we can see the hit on Eddie Lee Ivory again. He had his bell rung after the deflection. We've got 43 seconds.
We can't get a tape of that.
If you could, you couldn't play it. He said he's not an easy rider. Tampa Bay slot to the left side. DeBerg will go airborne. Nickel back in on defense is Estes Hood for the Packers. DeBerg, safety valve. They've got the screen set up for James Wilder. Wilder gets pounded down at the 40-yard line by Mark Murphy. Second and short, and the Bucs quickly take a timeout. 34 seconds left to go, and there's an injury to number 37. That is the Mark Murphy who put the first and 10 for the Bucs from the 32 of Green Bay. Slot to the left side, and now wide to the right is Bell. Packers with 6 defensive backs in there now. DeBerg unloads, look for House, and it is intercepted at the 10-yard line by Timmy Lewis. Lewis back to the 20 and is down at the 24-yard line. So the Packer defense keeping Green Bay in the game, coming up with another crucial turnover. Let's take a look at the isolated on the interception.
Well, they're trying to get the inside guy to run that corner route on the play. They're trying to run that pick again. They break it back out to the corner. And watch Timmy Lewis make a heck of a play. Steve DeBerg said that he has great hands for a defensive back, kind of like Everson Walls with the Dallas Cowboys. When he touches that football, he's usually going to make the interception, and that's his 7th this year for Timmy Lewis, former #1 draft choice for Green Bay.
I just finished saying that DeBerg wouldn't hurt you by forcing the ball, and he forces it into double coverage.
He certainly did that time.
That's the second turnover that has gone against the Bucs. A fumble lost on the punt. Let's see how Green Bay plays it now with 14 seconds. Flood to the left. Dickey will put up a rainbow. Lofton is out there. So is Epps, and it's dropped at the 32-yard line. Beasley Reese, the postbuster, was back there. Epps had the best shot at it, but it's just a long incompletion with 7 seconds left to go. Don't forget, at halftime coming up, scores and highlights with Brennan Irv back in the studio in New York. He'll try to unscramble that NFC East. Opportunity knocks. A look at the Seahawks under Chuck Knox. And a live interview here in Green Bay with Tampa Bay's owner Hugh Culverhouse on the changing coaching situation with the impending retirement of John McKay. Lynn Dickey 5 for 13, 34 yards. Hail Mary time again. They'll set up the screen for Ray Krause.